Hello and welcome. This is basically our video number 15 when it comes to the pivot table series. So make sure you also check video number 1 up to 14 when it comes to the pivot tables so that you can actually come to this. So in this point, I'll actually be showing you how we can use what you call timelines. We have actually done filtering based on the product. We have also done filtering based on the categories. We have also done filtering based on the country, but we have not actually done based on the dates. So how do we actually do filtering based on the dates? So for filtering based on the dates, we actually have to use what we call a timeline. So before we actually go on to checking the timelines, make sure you actually subscribe to this YouTube channel and also follow me on my X platform so that we can build this account together. So that's all. Allow me to actually insert a timeline. So this is just but a report. Yes, that's the sum of amount by product category. You can check that the categories are actually two. I have the fruit category there. On this point, I have the vegetables category. On this case here, you can actually check that I have the products and the amounts. So this is actually the sum of amounts by products. So that's it. Now, I would actually want us to do some filtering based on the dates. So the filtering based on the dates, you don't actually use the slicer. We have to use a timeline. So how do we insert a timeline? That's the question. So to insert a timeline, yes, you first have to click on the report. So you click on, let's say we want the timeline to be applied on report 1. And the name for the report is actually here. You can actually check that on this point here. It's actually pivot 11. So in my case, this is actually pivot 11. And the name for this report is actually equivalent to, that's on inside the PivotTable Analyze tab. The name for this report is actually equivalent to pivot, pivot table 12. So you can actually double click and have a different name. Then you actually hit enter. So that's okay. We have actually seen how that can be done. So for this point here, allow me to actually insert a timeline so that we can do some filtering so that we can maybe obtain the total amount for the first quarter of 2024 or the first half of 2024 or the year 2024 only. The same thing applies to 2023. We can obtain the last quarter. That's the sum of amount for the last quarter, sum of amount for the second quarter, sum of amount for the second half, or even the whole year. Very possible. So click inside the first report because we would actually want to use that timeline inside the first report only, not with this one here. So click inside the first report, PivotTable Analyze tab. We have what you call a filter group. And right there, we have what you call insert timeline. So you can actually check that. Use a timeline to filter dates interactively, to filter dates. Yes. So this one is actually used for filtering dates, as I told you earlier on. Click on insert timeline like that, and you'll actually realize that when you click on insert timelines, the dates will actually pop up alone. You won't be having the products, you won't be having the amount, you won't be having the category, not the country, not even the product, because we actually said in this point that it actually belongs to the dates only. So it can be something like a shipping date, it can be reception date, something like that. So it has to be a date. So click on it like that. Then you have to select the date. Yes. Then hit on OK. So this is basically what we call a timeline. Yes. So this is now a timeline. And you can actually check that we have all the periods. Yes. So we have, this is actually June, July, August, September, October, November, December. You can actually check the year is actually up there. So this is basically 2024. And we have a scroll bar down here, or you can actually use this left arrow so that you can go to the left, or you can use this right arrow so that you can go to the right, or you can just double click on this scroll bar here and just drag it to the left or drag it to the right. So let's actually drag it to the right like that. So you can actually check that I have 2023 January. Remember, all these dates are actually in between 2023 and 2024. So we actually have 2 years only, 2023, 2024. So I have 2023 here, January all the way to December. Yes, so January all the way to December. You can check that I do have December here. Then 2024 from January all the way to December. Yes, that's it. So that is when you actually want to do the filtering based on the months. You can actually check here, months. You can also click on that down arrow so that you can hit on the years. Because I have 2 years, which is actually 2023 and 2024, I'll actually have the two. click on it like that. Now you can check 2023 and 2024. You can also click on it like that. You can obtain the quarters, and that's it. So 2024 quarter 1, quarter 2, quarter 3, quarter 4. 2023 quarter 1, quarter 2, quarter 3, quarter 4. That's all. So let's first start with the months. So in this point here, if you would actually want to obtain the sum of amount, that's when it comes to the categories, that's the sum of amount for the categories in this report here. If you would like to obtain the sum of amount when it comes to January only, you have to click on January, just like that, and you can actually check that it's responding. So we have 13,920. Click on February. You can check that we only have for the fruits, but no vegetables. Click on March, just like that. You can actually check that we had no amounts for export on March. April, no exports. May, no exports. June, no exports. July, no exports still. September here, nothing. October, we have the exports, fruits and vegetables. Fruits 59.54, and on this point 50.15. So you can actually check that filtering is actually working properly when it comes to the dates. So if you'd like to select multiple dates, what do you actually do? So you have to double click on this point here, then you drag. So if you want to add November and December, after double clicking on October, then you just have to select like that, just like that. Very simple. Now you can actually check that I have the total amounts for October, November and December when it comes to 2023 for the categories fruits and vegetables. And on this point too, you can select from February all the way to June. So select like that all the way to June, and that's it. Now you can check that I have for fruits 316, 321, for vegetables 153, 255. So to select multiple, you just have to click on one like that, then you double click on it, then you drag. Yes, that's all for the months. So let's also go into checking for the quarters. So if you'd like to obtain for quarter 2 in 2023, you just have to click on quarter 2, just like that. You can actually check that there were no exports. Quarter 2 of 2024, that's it. There were exports. Fruits 206,800, vegetables 97,613. So that's it. Also come to the point for the years. If you'd like to check the total exports in 2023, click on 2023 like that, and that's it. For 2024, click on it like that, and that's it. So basically that's how you can actually use a timeline. So before we also check on the timeline on this one here, that's the sum of amount by products. This is actually a different report. Before we actually check on the application of timeline here, I would actually bring you to this point here. So you can actually check that I will actually be accepting the work from your end. This is actually for the templates. So I can actually design for you the templates, manage them for you, then actually deliver the results. That's actually for a monthly retainer. So for a monthly retainer, I will actually charge you $50. So just $50 for that work. And you can also book me for design of this kind of templates: the ultimate business dashboard templates, personal finance templates, inventory management system templates, AI powered reporting templates, HR and payroll tracker templates, sales performance tracker templates. I can actually design for you all these kinds of templates, and you can actually check that the prices are favorable. Down here, I'll actually be accepting the projects from your end too. So if you have a project which is always running every month, then you can actually book for a monthly retainer. So inside a monthly retainer, we have the monthly subscription, which is actually equivalent to $550. And what does it actually entail? It entails the cloud in Excel, dashboards, charts, automation, pivot tables and models, Power BI, financial forecast, templates management, all that kind of work. I'll actually do them for you, $550. For the one-time task, the AI-powered dashboard designs, $150. AI data analysis and insights, $200. AI automation and smart macros, $250. AI enhanced Power BI reports, $300. The prices are quite favorable, and I'll actually be glad to help you solve the problems. You can also get the early access into my courses. My site is actually on hold, but it will be back very soon. But before the site is actually back, you can actually get access for all these courses on Microsoft Excel at just $100. So imagine $100 and you actually get to master Microsoft Excel. So $100 for a deal which is actually worth $945. So for us to actually communicate on the projects, on the templates, and on the courses, reach me out. This is actually my email. So reach me out so that I can actually help you solve the problems. So if you actually need to insert a timeline for this report here, you click on this report first. After clicking on this report, get yourself into the PivotTable Analyze tab. You have what you call the filter group, insert timeline. Just like that, and you click on the date. So make sure you actually click on the report first, which you would actually want the timeline to be inserted to. That's it. So in this point, let me actually hit OK. And now you can actually check that I have a timeline. So because I had actually clicked on this report first before actually going to the timeline, this timeline will actually be working for this second report. So that's it. So I can actually click on August here, and you can actually check that this report is actually responding to the timeline. So click on September again, you can actually check that it's actually responding, but not the first report, this one here. So click on November again, you can actually check that it's responding. That's actually for the months. For the quarters, you can click on the quarters there. If you actually need to check on the exports on quarter 3 of 2023, that's it. There were no exports. Quarter 3 of 2024, there were exports. These are them. Let's also go to this point here. Let's say you would want to check on the years, the exports in 2023. The sum is actually equivalent to this one here, and the sum of exports in 2024 by product is actually equivalent to what we have here. So that's all when it comes to the timelines. So let's actually stay tuned for the next video.